Hello and welcome to the Real Life Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jonathan. This is a platform where we get to engage, interact, and learn from icons, gurus, trendsetters, trailblazers, difference makers, and world changers. You know what I'm talking about. I'm excited today because sitting next to me is a friend of mine. In the mood of remembering the second Republican president, Dr. Frederick Chiluba. This is the last born daughter, right?
That's right.
Verocia Chiluba. Hey V,
hey.
welcome to the show.
Hi Jonathan, thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good.
You look fresh.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So fresh and so clean. That's what Daddy always said.
Yeah.
Better look fresh and clean.
I see. Now, Vero, you grew up in the State House, right?
Yes, you can say that.
Okay. And by the time Dr. Chiluba was becoming president, you were young. I think you were about 4 or something.
Ah, you know too much already.
So my question to you is, tell me about you growing up in the State House. How was it as a kid, living an extraordinary life?
To be honest, okay, when Dad came into power, that was 1991, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I should have been about 4 years old.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't like, I didn't know that there was anything different.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's
it
what
was
I
normal
knew.
For you.
Yes, that's the life that I knew.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I do remember is Dad always reminding us to be humble.
Okay.
So in his saying, be humble and respect everyone around you, it kind of, made me alert to the fact that there's possibly people that live differently from how I live, but I hadn't seen it, with my own eyes.
Yeah.
So for me, that was what life was. I didn't know anything different.
Good.
Yeah.
Surrounded by security, obviously everything was done for you. At what age did you realize, oh, okay, now I think this life is a bit, and extraordinary from the other people's lives?
It was a gradual process because, from time to time, I'd be in my dad's motorcade with him and, you see people waving and screaming, oh my God, it's him, and I'm like, Dad, who are you? What is this?
Yeah.
But so when I got to about 11, 12, it kind of hit home like, okay, my father is actually the president of a whole country, like not a village or a city, like an entire people's.
Yeah.
And so slowly I started to understand that there's certain etiquette that we need to follow, to abide by, certain behavior. And so I slowly and gradually learned to accept and grow into the role that I had to play.
The you.
The me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, after you realized that there was something different about your family, did you feel privileged? Did you feel favored? Or you just felt, I deserve it?
Like I said, Dad always taught us to be humble. And even before he became president, I think I've said this on quite a few occasions, Dad always taught us to put God first.
Okay.
So in that we were always prayerful and conversant with the word.
Yeah.
We appreciated the fact that yes, we were different, but there's a reason why God made us different. So what was our role? Our role is to give back to the nation and to whatever it is that we gain from the outside world, we have to bring it back. When you go into the diaspora, you must come back and, that knowledge has to be imparted into the nation because otherwise, what's the point? Yeah.
Have you ever been on a bus before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, of course.
Are you telling me the truth?
I'm telling you the truth more than 100%. Okay. Here's why. When I started playing football for National Assembly Queens, I sensed that the girls were not so comfortable with the fact that the daughter of the former president is playing with us. Yeah. We don't know if she's going to start telling the managers our secrets. And, so I saw that it didn't really make sense for me to be dropped dropped off at football practice in a GRZ car. Yes, you can't take away the fact that my father is the president. That is my entitlement, right? But at the same time, you have to appreciate how others are feeling. So to make them more comfortable, I would actually meet a friend of mine, like I would walk from the Kablonga house. I lived in Kablonga with my mom at the time. And I would walk down to the end of the road where Niem Tendere there by the filling station. And I'd get a bus from there.
That's Kobe filling station.
Kobe, yes. And I'd get a bus from there to Friday's Corner.
Friday's Corner, yes.
And then all the way to mass media. And then walk to the football stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At what age did you start learning domestic chores, you know, like cooking and that's if you know how to cook?
That's a good question. Nice. Actually, I do know how to cook, thanks to my eldest sister, I must say, Helen Chiluba Kapapa, the firstborn in the family. So after boarding school, I then moved to London and I lived with my sister for 7 years. And that's where I really became domesticated. Like she taught me the ins and outs of cleaning, literally on my knees. You know, she's like, you have to learn how to clean. Clean carpets, wash clothes, iron clothes, cook. Like big up to my sister.
Great.
Honestly, she taught me everything I know that has made me the woman that I am today.
Awesome.
Domestically.
Great.
Yeah.
Did you have any aspirations of becoming president, you admiring your father?
Of course. I mean, well, I wouldn't say president per se. My very first aspiration was always to become the first, I know it's a bit out of this world, but the first female football player in the men's Premier League. That was like my out of this world dream. Like I used to see myself on the pitch, you know, playing football with the men. And then I realized it's never going to happen because of FIFA laws. But, and my dad honed that gift. Like I used to watch football with him and he'd always explain the offside rule, what a free kick is, you know, and...
because he himself was a football fan, right?
Yes, he was an avid football lover. And yeah, so I learned a lot about football, but in terms of politics, at first I admired like, you know, what my father was doing for the country and everything, but then there's a dirty side to politics. And I feel like no matter how clean you go in, you're gonna come out tainted. You have to do certain things that may not be of your nature for the betterment of the country, but they're still a little bit crooked. So I learned also that in politics there's also a lot of there's light and there's shade. So I didn't know if I'm the type of person that could do that. Like I find it very hard to lie.
I see.
Like you can see straight through me. I don't know. But then I also found that if you're not a very strong person, power can change you. So I feel like if I was ever to go in that direction, I'd really have to work on self-growth. And I think it's something that everyone should learn. You need to really figure out who you are as a person and what limits you can reach, what limits you can't reach, and really practice certain things as a human being, you know? Because sometimes you think you know yourself when you don't really know yourself until you're put in a position that allows you to learn a little bit more about who you really are.
I look at the late president as someone who was, you know, intelligent, wise, courageous, very eloquent. How would you describe him as, in your own terms?
A maverick. Genius, as you said. I mean, that man was just not for this world. I don't even think there's like a correct adjective to describe. I would have to go through like every single page of the dictionary, and on every page I think I would find a word that described him in some way or another. I mean, like you said, he was a highly gifted individual, highly intellectual, a great orator, a great listener. Very hard to be both at once. You know, it's either you're a great listener or you talk too much. So he was very kind-hearted, very giving. You know, there's nothing that his children would ask for that he wouldn't give.
Really?
Nothing. You always knew with Dad, once you go there, you know you're coming out with probably
something.
more than what you asked for.
Great.
But also a great teacher, you know, wisdom, infinite wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I think that all we must give thanks to God for allowing us to share time on this earth with such a man.
Great.
And that should inspire us to be the best versions of ourselves.
Awesome. Yeah. What are some of the values that he instilled in his children that you live by, and some of your children, some of your siblings also live by, that you think, okay, these we got them from him? One,
which I think everyone can attest to, is the love for the Lord.
Okay.
Yes. So everyone, every single one of my brothers and sisters, they know the Bible inside and out. They pray. We always put everything to God. So that's one thing that he always taught us, to love the Lord and put the Lord first. Number two, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't ever try and emulate somebody else. You know, having such a dad and of course such a mom, those are two very big boots to fill.
Yeah.
But in trying to fill those boots, remember who you are. Yourself. Don't lose yourself in trying to emulate somebody else.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's great. What are some of the lessons that today's leaders, today's politicians should emulate from the leadership style of the late president?
Ooh, but Jonathan, that's a tricky question, eh? No, I mean, I personally think that every single leader that we've had has played a very important role towards the development of our country.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from them. I respect each and every leader, from KK, may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Yeah.
I mean, he's because of him, we have independence from our colonial rulers. Do you know what kind of courage it takes to say, get out of our country?
Yeah.
We want to be independent. We want to be a sovereign state. So for him, thank you, KK.
Yeah.
To you, thank you, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Yeah.
You know, and then Mr. Chiluba, democracy, multi-party democracy, freedom of speech, the opening up of the economy, declaring Zambia a Christian nation. What more can you want? You know, like some of us, many people today would not have homes if not for Dr. Chiluba. Many people would not own businesses and be self-sufficient because of Dr. Chiluba. You know what I mean? And going on, I mean, on and on. Every single president has played a role. We must be grateful. So it's very difficult for me to say that no, Mr. Sata should have taken from Mr. Chiluba, or Mr. Banda should have taken from KK. No, we, you know, and in presidency, every time a president comes in, they set out agendas, right? It doesn't mean that because they've set it out, they will complete those agendas in their tenure. So every president is actually continuing on from where the other left off. And sometimes you find that the other left you in a ditch and you have to dig yourself out. So you must give credit where credit is due. Every single president has played their role and they've done it effectively towards the development of this country.
Great. Powerful. You took from your father the courage, you know, the intellect, you know, deep stuff you are releasing right there. How would you love Dr. Chiluba to be remembered, his legacy to be remembered?
Let's remember him for his flair, his confidence, his love for the people, his love for God. You know, even the little things that, you know, that just added character to him, like, you know, the way he dressed, you know, people talk about that forever. But I mean, if it's that memorable, then it must have made a difference in a lot of people's lives, because he introduced a new style. You know, he introduced men, he taught men to be clean. You know, for you to get to the next level and to mix with technocrats and bureaucrats in different areas, you have to look a certain way. And he taught us that. I mean, if you look 10 years ago, how people were dressed, to now, when you walk into the bank,
it's very different.
It's very different. Even women, it's very different. People are so clean and well dressed and ready to play their part in wherever they're going. And let's remember, he had a sense of humor. He was quite a funny man, you know. And of course, I always reiterate, the fact that he declared Zambia a Christian nation. Where would we be without that covenant that he made?
That was huge. That was big. That was big.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing that you've learned so far in life as the president's daughter?
Oh, I've learned so many things.
Yeah.
One, I've learned that appreciate and value people, everyone. Humility is key. Never look down on people. You don't know tomorrow who's going to lift you up out of the gutter. So I respect every single human being that walks this planet.
Great.
Yeah. Number two, well, I guess they're mixed in.
Yeah.
But always be humble. You know, don't live off the achievements of another person. Make your own for your own children.
Yeah.
You know, build your own legacy.
Yeah.
So yes, we must not forget that we have a name that we must uphold.
Yeah.
Of course, the Chiluba name must be upheld with dignity.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, who am I? Palwandi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah.
You now work for, is it Foreign Affairs?
Yes.
What's the next move?
Wouldn't you like to know? No, I've had, I'm inspired, you know, just this period of mourning and celebrating the life and commemorating the life and legacy of Dr. Frederick Jacob Titus Chiluba.
Yeah.
I've been told several times that I have a gift for public speaking. Okay. And, you know, for something to be told to you over and over again, there must be something behind that.
Good.
So I feel like one of my, one thing that I'd like to do is maybe start going around Zambia.
Okay.
And just encouraging the youth.
Okay.
That they can achieve whatever it is they want to achieve. If they want to put God first and be the best versions of themselves.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As we end this piece, what are your last words to our viewers right there?
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you so much, Jonathan, for having me.
I'm humbled.
He's a great friend of mine, and I hope the friendship continues.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'd like to say Corona is real, people. It's so real. So many people are losing loved ones. Stay safe, mask up, glove up if you can, sanitize, and, you know, drink a lot of vitamin C. Just stay healthy. We need the country to maintain some form of population.
Yeah.
I love you, my people.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's it.
Great. Thank you, V, for showing up on the Real Life Show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
I'm grateful. I've learned a lot. I didn't know you're actually wise like this.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Real Life Show. Jonathan here. I was chilling with the First Lady, the last daughter of President Titus Chiluba. Keep watching, stay safe, and God bless you. Peace.
Hi, I'm Kristen Chaba, and you are on the Real Life Show. Continue watching more interesting real life stories with Jonathan.